to you. I hope you've had an amazing year so far. I've got the gold background as the market is just giving gifts with gold ripping up right now. It's doing amazing. In fact, if you check the seasonality of gold, it looks like we're in for quite a ride. It looks like it might be breaking out. We even might have seen some dark pool activity in the gold sector. But I wanted to talk to you too because this year is the year of abundance, the abundance for you, the year of the abundance for me, the year of abundance. If you put that out there, you put the work out there, you are prepared. The more that you are positive and you're encouraging yourself as well as others, you are going to prosper this year. So I also wanted to put it out there, I am in the teaching arena now with Stephanie Kammerman in the training pit. However, I went ahead and I did an amazing blog post. So check it out here, Best Online Stock Trading Communities for Beginners. I'm going to be revamping my website. That's something that's going to happen here in 2020. But definitely check this out. There's some amazing traders. We've got the Modern Trader Summit as well, where we're bringing these amazing traders in to talk together to help you guys. Not putting any trader up on a pedestal. We are just like you guys, and we want to see you succeed. So definitely check it out. Prices are going up February 1st, but we've got the top trading rooms right here. You can check them out. There is a free one there too for some absolute beginners if you might not have the capital to pay for a trading room and you're just learning. Again, if you are just learning, it is best to paper trade first. The market will be happy to take your money. So definitely go forward with the paper trading because if you can prove it on paper, then you should be able to prove it with real capital. So let's go ahead and get into the review for the week, right? So I always start off with the indexes and a little disclaimer, I did have my Series 7 back in 2000. It is no longer current, but you do need to recognize that there are trading risks in any sort of securities instrument and no results are guaranteed. So please, please, please trade with proper risk management and know that this is my personal opinion, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it. We had the SPY showing some action, amazing, hitting new highs, 324.89, which we hit on Thursday. And then Friday, again, it came up and tested 323.64. But look at this after hours, right? It went all the way up to 325.28, 27 area. So keeping that on watch to see, let's go ahead and pull it back onto the daily chart, right? So it came up, it tested this trend line here, and it pulled back and it closed above this trend line, which was another one that had sort of oscillating between the two. So watching to see if we're going to go up and test this again before we come back down further. We did have higher than normal volume. We are just above, you can see 322.10 is going to be the 8 EMA. We are just above that with a close at 322.43. So higher than normal volume, it bounced off of this trend line, feeling like I'm going to be bullish this week up to this trend line to see if we can break it up above from there. If we do, we might be looking at really cool new highs up around the 350 range up here. So keeping that on watch to see, because as the news is constantly saying, hey, the market's going to go down, the market's going to go down, more shorts start piling in. What can happen when there's more shorts that are there and they start to feel the pain? They start to get squeezed and they start to get squeezed. Anytime that we have a big crash, there's always a new high, right? So we did have that new high on Thursday. Is that going to be the top? Not 100% sure. Feeling like it might be going higher. However, going to go ahead and watch the price action. Going to go ahead and watch the dark pool prints. We did have some amazing dark pool prints, which we all keep track of in the Java pit. So if you guys want to, go ahead and check it out in the training pit. That's the first place to learn really about trading around the dark pool. And so I will let you in, 319.52. That's a great level to watch, okay? So we're above that right now, dark pool, above that major level, looking to go ahead and be bullish on that for now. NASDAQ. Same scenario. Look, just looking at the chart and looking at it technically, we are holding above these averages. Look, every time it came down to that 8 EMA, it bounced up. We broke this downward trend line and we're in upward action. IWM, Russell, first one to show that it might be weakening, right? It went ahead, it hit new highs on Thursday again, and now it curled down and we're down below. However, it does look like we've broken this support area right here. So we'll see, is it going to go ahead and break back here? Or is this going to hold? I would look at 163 area. If we break below 163, definitely feeling bearish on the market overall. And I don't have the Dow Jones. Let's go ahead and pull that one up too. So we've got the Dow Jones again. Now you have to remember that a lot of this with the Dow Jones, NASDAQ, and SPY, QQQ and SPY are related to Apple because Apple is a large holding in those 3 ETFs. So whatever's happening to Apple could also happen to those ETFs because it has such a large strength. So let's go ahead and get into the potential longs. First potential long that I have on the list is LW, Lamb Weston. Yes, they had earnings. Looking overbought, however, many times you will see that 3-day price action, similar to if you have a cash account, you trade, right? You have that trade date plus 2 days for that settlement to happen. So many times you'll see that on earnings, it'll be a 3-day scenario, and then you start to have that sell-off. So looking for Lamb Weston Holdings. Now, this does have 145 million in the float, and it was 41% short float volume on Friday. So looking for support to hold of 92.94 and resistance of 94.33. You can see right here on the 15-minute chart how I developed that. Again, Tesla. Talking about having a short squeeze in the market, Tesla has had more than 60 days where the short volume has been over 50%. Everybody's thinking, Tesla, it's going to implode, right? It's going to go down. Well, as that happens, they continue to get squeezed. It does have 133 million in the float. Again, over 50%, 62% short volume on Friday. So looking at support of 441.48 or 441.50, right here, the low down here. And for a breakout above 447.49 for resistance. When we look back at it on the weekly chart or daily chart, you can see right here, right? We actually saw dark pool going ahead and entering back around here. And we've seen a lot of action all the way up. Came back down, pulled back, all the way up. We do have a bit of a gravestone doji up here. We are a bit trading on air at the moment, so we might see it come back down to the high of this candle, 434, before we might see it rip back up again. But keeping it on watch, again, I do have a potential target for this at 523 in the next 100 and now 15 trading days. So we are well on its way. And I gave that back here. We were back at 364. So it's already gone up $80 since then. Another $80. We might even hit that in the next 30 days, right? So keeping that on watch, we do have higher than normal volume, and we've held above this support area. If we do break below that 435 area, 434.40, potentially watch for that to come back down. We'll see. The big guys are going to decide on this one, right? As for now, we do have, we had this nice consolidation period here. We had a rounded bottom, and up we went, right? So let's look at Apple now, potential long. Apple has 4.44 billion, was 51 short volume on Friday. On our 15-minute chart, we've got it here. Looking for a breakout above 300.05 for resistance and support of 297.11 down here, which held, it was resistance back here on the left, and then it held as support here on Friday. So looking for that to still hold as support. When we look at it on our yearly chart or daily chart right here, we had the massive volume right here. So once we broke above that, off to the races, up to the upside. And look, we've had fairly average volume right here. Even though we were breaking out to new highs, it was lower volume that day and higher volume here. We didn't come down and test this 4 EMA. We might go ahead and test it and then break back to the upside. Let's see, let's remove this here. So you can see it does like to follow that 8 EMA as well and bounce up off of that. If you want to see an awesome video as well about 8 EMA, check out Stephanie Kammerman's video about 8 EMA. All right. And next potential long, MRVL, Marvell Tech Group, right? So not sure, this could be overall a little shoulder, a head, and another shoulder, but we did break out to new highs there. So it looks like we have a higher volume doji here with more selling power. It's in the bottom third, so that could be that we are signaling more selling going on. However, we are still holding that 8 EMA and we're still in this uptrend. So definitely keeping it on watch. Came down, they filled the gap, and then they bounced it back up. So we might have a Monday where they're going to fill the gap up to 26.99. Or if we're able to, go ahead and test the high of 27.39. There was 77% short volume on Friday. That is fairly high. So looking to see if we can break out. Let's look at it on the 15-minute chart. So looking for support of 26.63 to be held, and then the level of 26.83 for resistance. We could put a secondary level of resistance right here for another target. Again, like I said, 26.99. So we might break from 26.83 to 26.99. It might test that level. It looks like there were sellers here in the past. That's also the 50 SMA on the 15-minute chart. So it might even need to break that 26.88, right? It might go 26.83, 26.88, 26.99, and then up from there. All right, next potential short. This one looks like it might be a longer term swing as well. Goose, Canada Goose Holdings. This one's always interesting. I don't remember the earnings date on this one, but definitely keeping this one on watch for a longer term swing here. 35.81 for support and 36.09 for resistance. When we look back on our yearly chart, look, we have this downward trend, right? It's a downward wedge at the moment. Last earnings in May, it did not perform so well. When we look back at earnings in February, same thing. It had a big drop. However, in January, if we're looking at seasonality here for the stock, you can see starting in January, it had that big downward trend in December, and then in January went from 42 up to 59 in February. So are we going to repeat that pattern this year? Not sure, but keeping it on watch, right? We can go ahead and draw a quick little trend line right there. This one does have 58.3 million in the float, and it's 72% short volume on Friday. So looking for the test, really, I'm going to go ahead and set an alert on this, right? Crossing up, because this one has the lower float ability, and it does have that potential to move. We don't have super high volume yet, but it looks like it might have that potential to curl up. So keeping it on watch, this one caught my eye. Next potential short is Carnival, right? So Carnival, we had this double top here, right? 48.40 area. It's pulled back, it's starting to curl down. We had higher than normal volume doji right here, and it pulled back after that. It did come and test this gap area right here from the 20th. However, we do have another gap if it breaks below from 46.35 all the way down to 45.30 and then on down to 44.50. So definitely going to keep this one on watch, right? Let's look at the 15-minute chart. I would look for support of 47 and resistance of 47.46 or 47.50 area for that mental number in people's brains. This does have 182 million in the float. Next potential short, Ben Franklin Resources, right? So this has a smaller range to it, $25 and $25.18 for resistance to be broken to the upside. When we look back at on the yearly chart, let me go ahead and just move this up a little bit. You can see we are hitting new 52-week lows, so that's why it's more interesting to me. We are a bit further away from the averages right now, so we might see a bounce up and then come back down. So keeping this one on watch, if it does break that 25 level to the downside, could be nice potential short area. You can see also on the RSI, it did have some times where it was down all the way in the 20s, 16% before it curled back up, and right now we're right at 34. I don't really use the indicators like that for getting into a trade, more is to not get into a trade. So just keeping it on watch, just something that caught my eye down there. Next potential short, we have MDP, Meredith Corporation. So again, test 1, 2. This is now the third test of this price level. It is another 52-week low. many times you'll see that it will continue to the downside at least for about 3 or 4 days before it goes ahead and continues up. We have had this move going on, and we just set that new 52-week low. It has lower than normal volume, so people aren't necessarily entering on the long side here. Did have buying power on Thursday, and Friday it pushed up from there as well. When we look at it on the 15-minute chart, MDP has 39.1 million in the float. I would look for 30.69 for support to be held and 31.58 for resistance to be broken to the upside. Next potential short is CONN. This does have a lower float with 16.2 million, so it might be harder to short the actual shares. However, there might be some options on it that are available. Many times with the lower float ones, you will find that the option spreads are quite wide though, so pay attention to that. 11.52 for support to be held and 11.87 for resistance. When we look at it on the daily chart, you can see we are hitting new 52-week lows. Look, that was way back there that I had it on my list back in September. If we look at the 5-year chart, looks like we have hit a past, you can see that, past resistance that might be flipping to be support. So keep that on watch. If it does break down from here, we might go down to 10.09 and then down to 8.41 from there. All right. And next potential short is BGR, or BlackRock Energy. We are on the weekly chart here, or 5-year chart. So you can see this did act as a support area in the past. This might be a resistance area, right? If we look at it on the 15-minute chart, it's come up, it's hit resistance, and it might pull back from here. 12.45 for resistance to the upside for breakout, and 12.32 for support. This does have 29.8 million in the float. When we look at it just for this year, we are hitting a double top here. So is this going to be a breakout? This might be a big upside down head and shoulders, right? Shoulder, head, and shoulder area. So we might be ripping out to new highs, right? If we were to look at it that way. Or it could be that this higher than normal volume is exhaustion of the buyers, and the sellers are going to be stepping in and breaking it back down. Might have a nice move down to the 8 EMA here of 11.88, 11.90 area. So 40 cents to the downside before moving up to new highs. Keep it on watch as always. Now the potential longer term swings. I did have this one on last week, AED. And yes, it broke above right here, right? It broke above this level on Thursday, and then on Friday we have you can see that we had that massive volume there, probably because some shorts were getting squeezed, right? And it might have more of a move to the upside. So looking for a breakout now above 126. That's going to be the new gap fill point for me. So crossing up there. Next potential long, WTI. WTI is going to be associated with oil. Oil seasonality right now is starting off to a new upward side. However, we do have a higher than normal candle right here, and it looks like it's selling power stepped in. However, we did close above the, it came down, almost filled the gap here between the candlestick where it opened and right here, and it bounced up. So we might see more of an upside here. So we're going to see. We did have that oil numbers come out on Friday as well, and we're hitting a double top. So if it can go ahead and it can break above here, add an alert, might be worthwhile looking at for a seasonality trade going forward with WTI. Next potential long, LB brands. Right off the bat, when you look at this, I see major area of consolidation overall, right? So I see all of this right here. This is just the way my eye works, right? This has been going sideways since about September. So if we're able to go ahead and break above here, 1963, 1965, let's go ahead and set alert, crossing up. This could be massive consolidation of getting in for people, potentially the big guys, to take this up, right? Or if it breaks down below 1690 area, it might be going down further. That's the way my brain works. I just start to see these patterns. I see this consolidation area. We have higher than normal volume here. Caught my eye. Next potential longer term is KGC. Again, gold has seasonality going on, right? So we draw a little trend line here, right here, and it started to hover around and go up, it'd come back down. Go up, test the 50 simple moving average, come back down. Broke above the simple moving average. We have average volume going on right now, and we have a resistance point right here, 487. You can see this acted as resistance in the past, 492. So really above the $5 area, this might be a good one for longer term. Let's pull it back to the 5-year chart and see how it acts as well. So right here, you can also see 5 acted as support, right? It came up, it ripped up, and then it found this $5 mark as support. So keeping it on watch, know that many of the big brokerage houses will look at it after the $5 break. It does have earnings that will be coming out the 12th of February, so keep it on watch, okay? If you guys like my content, please like and subscribe. A lot of new things are going to be coming out this year. If you guys have an interest in running at all, I will be helping everybody learn how to run, break into a 5K, maybe even a 10K and a half marathon. I'm going to be doing that in November in Disney and would love to see you there. If you guys have an interest, let me know. I'm going to go ahead and probably share my journey here. I do have an SI issue on my back, so working with that, got to strengthen my body again. That's a re-injury from a car accident 10 years ago and really a pain in the butt, literally. All right, have a great week ahead. Carpe Profit, guys.